Hello and welcome to the first episode of Green and Gorgeous. I am Hales and I'm joined here with one of my co-hosts, Tori. Emily will join us soon. We're ready to talk all things Packers. So first thing, we want to just introduce ourselves. We're a new show to Game On Wisconsin, as most of you know. So Tori, can you tell us where you're from and how you became a Packers fan?
Yeah, for sure. So I grew up in Minnesota near Minneapolis, and I'm now in Kansas City. My dad grew up in Green Bay, and he's the one that kind of got us all into it. My mom hates sports, so that was the option.
Kind of the same over here. Grew up in Kansas City. Tori and I actually used to be neighbors. Fun fact there. We could walk through the grass to each other's house and we met on Twitter. So fun story there for us. But I also grew up in Kansas City and my dad passed on his love of the Packers to my brother and I. So here I am. My mom didn't watch sports, so the Packers also were the only option for me.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hey, Emily. So we're just talking here, getting to know us a little bit. Can you tell us where you're from and how you became a Packers fan?
Yes, absolutely. So I am born and raised in Dallas, Texas. I've been here all my life and grew up as a Packer fan. Was born and raised in onesies, and Dad was a huge Cowboy fan in the 90s, and then Mr. Jerry Jones took over, and that was it for him. And so he went back to his childhood team of the Green Bay Packers, and then I came around, and that's where we're at.
Awesome. So, Tori, you have a fun fact about you, about the Packers, right? I think everybody should hear that.
Yeah, so something that was really cool was my grandpa was a player for the Packers back in, I believe, it was around 77. He played there for a year or two. He was a punter there, and then eventually he ended up playing for the Giants as well. So that was pretty something really cool always growing up. So when I was in school and we had to do like a report on anything, it was always the Packers, and he was always like my interview guy and told me a little bit like he's met um, a lot of big players out there before during the same time. So it was something really cool to grow up with for sure.
That's awesome.
So, question for you then, piggybacking off of that, is that how your family became Packers fans, or were they fans before your grandpa played for them?
No, they were fans before. Like they were growing up in Green Bay and stuff. So like they had my dad told me he had like multiple players that were like neighbors and stuff, and they would always go to the training camps and ride their bikes and everything. So they grew up there. My dad moved to California when he was like 7th grade, and then eventually we got to Minnesota. So very similar place to Green Bay for sure, but growing up around the Vikings fans wasn't the most fun.
I think that's how we all kind of feel where we live now. Tori, your boyfriend is
Absolutely.
a Chiefs fan, and then Emily, you're surrounded by Cowboys fans. So there's a little rivalry there, of course.
Yeah, sorry for your loss.
Didn't catch
Especially
it.
with Mike McCarthy being there. But Tori, you talked about the Packers training camp and how they would all ride their bikes to the training camp. So, what are your guys' thoughts so far on training camp this year?
I can go first, sure. Training camp so far, it's been really fun. I've been following it online and on Twitter. I'll get like the reports and stuff and read those every once in a while. There's been some big names and stuff popping up. So one of the big names I'd like to talk about for sure is Dubs and how he's been doing. I think we're all very well aware of who he is. What do you guys think about him so far?
Love him. I'm on the Dubs train.
So I don't know if you guys saw the other day, but I put out a tweet because every time I hear, Dubs, Dobbs, Dubes, I'm like, what is it? Does anybody know? I think he came out and said it's actually Dobbs.
I'm calling it
Oh,
Dubs because I only want W's for the year. So
yes.
Exactly. I was like, Dubs does sound better.
That's where I'm at too. I was calling him Dubs
That's
because
what
of the
we're hoping
W.
from him. Yep. So, yeah, I think there's a lot of hype around him. And then I saw the other day that Jordan Love has made some progress in training camp this year. So that's pretty exciting to hear. You know, we don't know how long Aaron Rodgers is going to be here with us, of course. We would love him to stay forever, but that's not going to happen. So
Unfortunately, can't happen.
He made a comment yesterday, because yesterday was, I believe, was Tom Brady's 45th birthday, and while they were interviewing him, they asked, will you be still playing when you're 45? And he said no. And I want to say this year he's turning 39, so could be less than 6 years, but
I really
less.
do. I really do enjoy though seeing Rodgers work with Love, like on the field and stuff, breaking down all these steps and getting him to be a better player when it comes game time, because we have been spoiled growing up with the quarterbacks we've had. So I'm hoping our time doesn't come to where we have a rough season, but I really like what he's doing with him for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is good to see, because there was the controversy, of course, around the Jordan Love pick. There still is, especially with Aaron Rodgers' attitude lately, if you would. I think people are getting more upset about the Love pick. So it's good to see him interacting more with Love and kind of showing him, helping him out. So that is good to see. But who do you think that we should be watching this upcoming season? Who are you guys most excited for?
My secret, well, for a rookie or for any player across the board?
Any player.
Ooh. I got a lot of love for a lot of the players. I'm excited for. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, I personally am excited to see AJ Dillon. I did see reports today that they said that he was going to be catching the ball as well as running the ball. Mm-hmm. So with him being so big, I think that's going to be really interesting to see him also catching the ball and what he's able to do with that. Because obviously, especially in the cold, he's,
monster
forced to be reckoned with.
Yeah,
so
no,
I think that's going to be interesting to see for sure.
Piggybacking off of you there is AJ Dillon was one of the ones I was thinking of. I was reading some reports about Rodgers. I think it was Monday. He was saying things that he has been one of those players that have developed so much over his few years he's been here. And he also did mention that he is one of those guys that is being really good at catching the ball as well. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him in the backfield. Either him or Jones, one of them is going to be running, one of them could be catching. We just have such a good duo with them. And then with, of course, Davante Adams leaving us, we need some people that he can trust as well. Like a lot of our receivers are new to the team. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes.
Going off of that, I saw a tweet that I strongly agreed with, saying that I highly doubt any of our receivers this year or anyone on our team will have over 1,000 yards catching. I think we'll have multiple players in the 600 to 800 range. I can't see, Lazard, Cobb, any of them reaching the 1,000 mark, but I think we'll have a lot of strong players, spreading it across the board, which might work for us. That seems to be a good case in previous years.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think we saw at our last game last season how spreading the ball around would have been a little bit nicer, of course, but it's hard when you have that go-to person. So it'll be nice to see how Rodgers does, and I feel like he could be doing good then with seeing other people and having to get other people, so then you don't know who's going to get the ball. Like, who are you going to double cover when you don't know which one's going to be number one?
Yeah, and I think we talked about that at our first meeting too, and it was right after the Davante Adams departure, how we talked about if they spread the ball more, better things can happen instead of just the forcing of trying to get it to Adams, which I completely understand. I mean, if I was in Rodgers' position, I would do the same exact thing, but we've seen in games where it did hurt us.
For sure.
Yeah. I completely agree with that. And also, I think there's a lot of players on the defensive side also that are going to be really fun to watch this year. Devondre Campbell and Rashawn Gary both were amazing last year, and I'm super excited to see what our defense is going to be like this year. As well as my personal favorite player, Jair Alexander, will be back. So, of course, I am.
Oh, yeah, I know you're excited to see him.
About that. Yes, I cannot wait to see him back and, see what he's going to do. And then Lazard posted the other day about how he's trying to be the best receiver in the league. So I think he has some big shoes to fill with him, probably being wide receiver 1 for Rodgers. But like Rodgers said, it's tough to transition from a Hall of Famer to a Hall of Famer. So
For sure.
Excited to see how he does this year as well. I think there's a lot of people where we can and should be excited for this season.
Can I ask you, Haley, how come he specifically is your favorite player?
Jair, because I love him. I think he's great. Troy plays a lot of Madden, and anytime he plays the Packers, I'm like, Jair's gonna pick you off. So always love seeing that. I think he really is a great player. He's young, so hopefully we have a lot of years left with him. But yeah, I'm super excited for him to be back for sure.
Yeah, and then I'm just hoping to see our defense grow. It's been something that's been difficult for us throughout the year, and I'm actually feeling really good about our defense this year. How do you guys feel about special teams right now?
Give me a couple more weeks and I think I'll be ready to answer. If this special teams doesn't give me a stomach ulcer this year, I will be very surprised.
That is very fair. One of the people I actually also was putting down as my person to watch this year is I really do feel like we all need to watch Mason Crosby and see how he recovers from that year. He went as being someone I was just like, all reliable. He is, I was like, he's making anything. And then basically anytime he was ready to kick the ball, I was getting kind of nervous. I'm hoping it was a fluke season because I really do like him. I love him on the team, and hoping it was just a fluke and we're recovering and making things for the better this year.
That's how I hope too.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't think that our special teams could really be much worse than they were last year. So I guess
silver lining.
That's always, the silver lining there. So on a positive note, I think we're going to be better than we were last year.
Yes.
Normally I was not one to slander Mason Crosby, but there were a few times where I was like, okay, I have to slander Mason Crosby right now, and he honestly deserves it. So
yeah.
But yeah, I hope that he's much better than he was last year, this year. But I think he's had a couple seasons where he's kind of, that mustache beard. Jacob is behind scenes, and honestly, he has got a great beard going on right now. I might just bring him in for you all to see that real quick.
Yay!
Yes, there's
yes.
the Game On Wisconsin hosting requirement right there, just behind the scenes for everyone. But yeah, that kind of threw me off there. Off topic for sure.
Well, going in, I was trying to find a tweet because I think I saw something about Mason Crosby was nursing his leg on the side, and we had another kicker that was practicing. And so I was trying to find the tweet, so obviously hashtag Mason Crosby, and it went back to 2018 when he was missing a couple of kicks, and people were like, he's got to go, and then had a solid season, and then I don't even know what last season was. My cousin actually texted me during one of the games and was like, he was like, would you rather have the kicker for the Packers, for Crosby, or the kicker for the Cowboys? Or, like, who would you pick on the line if they miss? You're losing one of your legs. And I was like, I was like, I'm going to go with Mason Crosby. And the next thing you know, he missed a field goal, and he was like, pick a leg.
I'm gonna go with Mason Crosby like a couple years ago.
Right. Old Mason Crosby for sure. Oh,
hey, he's still a Silver Fox, though. It's all right.
Oh, yeah.
I have a feeling he's going to come back, and he's going to be just fine this year. I have strong hopes for him. Like I said, I really do like the guy, and I hope he turns out to be what he has been before. So
yeah, I strongly agree. I slandered him a couple times last season, but I was just very stressed out, to say the least, at a couple of those games. I think the Bengals game probably was one of the most stressful. I don't even know how many missed field goal back and forth.
Oh, yeah, that was not a fun one.
Yeah.
Not fun at all. Okay, so let's talk about the game that we are most excited for this season. I think all of us basically have the same one. So I think it's the game, honestly, that most people are excited about because, old people coming back home, if you will. So if one of you guys want to talk about the game that you're most excited for.
Sure, I can go first. It will be the Dallas versus Green Bay game. Being born and raised in Dallas, there's a lot of crap that gets talked about my Packers, and it wasn't so bad growing up until after the hashtag Des didn't catch it era. And then after that, there's been some salty playoff losses against us, and they just seem to run their mouth a lot. I mean, I know everybody does that, but I'm just ready to, prove some haters wrong, and I think it'll be fun because I know at least I'm going to that game, and Haley, you're going, and we're working on Tori.
I'm working on it.
So that way, at least we
trying
can
to get her
hang
there.
out and drink a couple of beers and have some brats and do all the cheese things. So,
What do you think it'll be like having McCarthy come back?
I strongly hope that he does get a standing ovation. I mean, obviously, towards the end of his career, I don't personally agree with coaches getting fired midseason. Obviously, after a loss, I don't remember what Arizona's record was, but getting fired the day after that was pretty brutal for him. But I hope he gets a standing ovation, but I also hope we crush them.
Oh, of course, yeah.
I'm definitely intrigued to see the interaction between him and Rodgers, like before and after.
For
the
sure,
game.
yes.
I think that's going to be, I don't know.
Do you think they hug?
That's what I'm wondering. I'm like, are they going to hug? Are they going to act like they're friends? Because I honestly feel like it was Rodgers' fault that he got fired. So I don't know. I guess
I'm expecting a formal handshake for sure.
Is it going to be the oh gosh, was it Mike Zimmerman, the coach from the Vikings, when after their loss, and it was the turn away handshake?
One of these,
yeah.
It's
gonna be one of those, or
one of my least favorite coaches out there. I'll be honest.
Mike McCarthy is.
No, Zimmer.
Oh, Zimmerman. Okay.
Cannot stand him.
Ooh, that could be a hot take for later on in the season. Who is the worst, most hated coach?
Ooh, that would be a good one, wouldn't it? So I'll go. Another game that I'm most excited for is going to be our first game against the Vikings because Darius Smith, of course, the drama queen of the Packers, that is no longer on the team, and how he's spoken many times about, how he's going to just come for Aaron Rodgers and things like that whenever they play against each other. So I'm really, I can't wait to see that game just to see kind of how that plays out and what he actually does and what actually happens. So
how did you guys feel when you saw he signed with the Vikings?
Honestly, I really wasn't surprised. He was so much drama whenever he didn't get captain, and then it was just like
back
injury.
Get that
he was hurt, but then it was like I didn't feel like he really ever wanted to play for the Packers again anyway. So I honestly was not surprised at all that he went to the Vikings because, that I feel like that's our most competitive rival in our division, of course.
For sure.
So why would he not go there if he really has it out for the Packers as much as he made it seem and as much as the drama was?
Yeah. And I think to your point also, in the past couple of years in our division, pending not the last game of the season when we bench half our players, but we've split pretty much every year with the Vikings. And as you're saying, that's our most competitive, team in our division. And because I don't remember the last time that Chicago beat us. It might have been a couple of years ago.
Yeah, that's one of the things that sucked about growing up in Minneapolis is those Vikings fans. I would agree. They're definitely the team I hate the most in the division. I know obviously the Bears are our rival for sure, but I just cannot stand the Vikings.
I think it's the horn that just does it for me. That
oh my gosh, it's the worst sound. Every time I hear it, I'm like, stop that. I don't want to hear it.
It's the skull chant for me. I don't understand.
It's the whole thing. It's the whole fan base. It's the whole stadium. It's all the sounds they make. It's all terrible.
I got a little fact. So I played softball in college at this school in Missouri, and our actually mascot was the Vikings. Unfortunately, it was very hard to
Oof.
go play for them, like extremely. But so their logo looks very, very similar to the Vikings logo, and the Vikings actually tried to sue them because of that and say that we copied
Really?
their logo. Fun fact, my college started before the Vikings did. So they counteracted that and they're like, actually, you kind of are stealing our logo. And they got real quiet real quick.
Oh my gosh.
Well, when all they have to go on is division banners in their workout rooms, then you got to grab for whatever you can.
Yeah,
No doubt about
I
that.
I hated too when they were like talking crap about Lambeau and stuff. They're like, they only got bleachers. It's like, this is such a historic like
Yeah.
field. Like, why mess with something that's already great?
Don't fix what's not
That
broken.
I think that is the thing that makes me most mad when somebody tries to come for the Packers. It's like, but their stadium is so boring. And I'm like, have you ever
Mm-mm.
been there? Because as soon as you walk in, it doesn't matter what team you're cheering for. Like, you're immediately accepted. You're at a real football game. You don't, I'm like, it's football. Why do we need all of these fancy stadiums? And I'm just like, no, I'm there to watch football. I'm not there to sit around in the stadium.
Or watch it on a
And
huge screen at
yeah, exactly.
Jerry's World.
And that's the thing too. I'm like, Lambeau is so historic that I just don't understand what all the hate is about that there's bleachers there. I'm like, yeah, we can fit more people in the bleachers than you can fit in your seats or in the standing room that you have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, it's such a comforting environment. I know us girls got on and talked a different time about how the fans are at other stadiums and stuff and the interactions
Mm-hmm.
we've had. I have friends that are not Packers fans. They've gone to Lambeau and they've said they've had a blast. You
Oh,
walk
yeah.
around, you're tailgating, you're getting hot dogs, brats, you're getting whatever you want just given to you. And that environment is just amazing.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter, who you are. Obviously, we've all been to Lambeau, but maybe the people that are watching haven't all been to Lambeau.
Mm-hmm.
You walk around when you tailgate, it's people's homes, and they invite you into their home. I mean, what other city are you going to go to where they do that? And also you park in their yards. And I mean, even when you're walking around the Lambeau parking lot and everybody's tailgating, it doesn't matter who you are, what team you're there from, they still offer you everything that they have. So I don't know. I don't really understand why people hate on the Packers fans so much because it's definitely not like that in Wisconsin. So
Mm-hmm.
I think that's, one of my favorite things about being a Packers fan is how genuine the fan base is.
One of my favorite things about being a Packers fan as well is because we got fans everywhere. I grew up in Minnesota. I was never the only Packers fan. I'm here in Kansas City. I am not the only Packers fan. There is always someone somewhere. We travel amazingly
Oh,
well
yeah.
and we pass down that love for the team like to generations. So when you move
Mm-hmm.
somewhere, you're passing it on and it's awesome for sure.
Mm-hmm. I totally
Yeah.
agree. The last time that Green Bay came down to Dallas in 2019, I'd say 70% of the stadium was filled with Packer fans. I mean, chills were going through my body when the Go Pack Go chant started. I was like, that's very, very loud. And we'll hear it too on TV sometimes, especially when they, like you said, they
Mm-hmm.
travel amazingly. And the game's quiet, and all of a sudden you just hear Go Pack Go, and it's like just incredible. Such a good feeling to know that there's that many of us out there.
For sure.
Yeah.
Never alone.
Mm-hmm.
That I think that was like my number one priority of being a boy mom. I was like, my son is going to be a Packers fan. Obviously, his dad is a Chiefs fan. We're from Kansas City. And anytime someone in the family gets my son Chiefs stuff, I'm like, you might as well just keep that at your house because I'm never putting him in that.
Mm-mm.
Only Packers stuff over here. We did his newborn photos, and his dad brought Chiefs stuff, but I only remembered to put him in the Packers stuff.
Oh, darn. Forgot.
And then, yeah,
Nothing
and we have
wrong with
a
that.
signed Packers football from Lynn Dickey. So made sure that was in the photos with him as well. So yeah, it's definitely something that you pass on generations of for sure.
That's pretty cool. I was curious, Emily, what's like one of your favorite things that you have like memorabilia wise with the Packers and stuff?
In a couple years ago, my boyfriend got me a signed Aaron Rodgers helmet for Valentine's Day, and that is
Good man.
definitely probably one of my most prized possessions. Yeah, that, and I have a teddy bear from when I was growing up that is stitched in Packer fabric, and that's gone with me everywhere I've ever gone. So something like that, yeah.
That's awesome.
What about you, Tori? Do you have anything Packer
Um,
fan?
I've gotten so like actually right behind me, I had a friend of mine from school. He gave me this Favre jersey and he signed it and stuff, and he wrote all the years he was MVP on it. So that's probably one of my favorite things. I'm waiting to get this thing framed. I've been waiting for so long. So that's probably one of mine. How about you, Haley?
The signed Lynn Dickey football for my son is definitely something really cool. My uncle, so Lynn Dickey actually lives in Kansas City. I don't know if anybody knows that. But my uncle works on houses and actually was working on Lynn Dickey's house. And, you know, my uncle never really asked him for anything, even though we're all Packers fans, of course. Well, my uncle's not, but my brother and I. And then whenever I found out I was pregnant and then found out I was having a boy, I guess my uncle called him and was like, hey, man, I really hate to ask you this, but, you know, my niece is a huge Packers fan. She's having a baby boy. Would you mind just signing this football? And he was like, yeah, of course, bring it over. So my uncle took it over there and got it signed, and I got it at the baby shower. I was like, this is the most prized possession from the baby shower. Like,
oh, that's easily the best thing. Like, I hope no gifts came after that because there's no way they're topping it.
Right. And anytime somebody touches it, like if they pick it up thinking it's just a football, I'm like, put that down immediately and don't ever touch that again. We don't play with that ball. That's just on the dresser. Don't ever touch it. But I also still have my first ever Clay Matthews jersey that I also want to get framed, but I haven't because it's super expensive. But one day, hopefully I'll have a room where I can just put all my Packer stuff and get it all framed. But Tori actually has a fun game for us. Tori, do you want to explain what it is? And I know Emily is going to be playing it today.
Yeah, so with training camp and everything going on, we all saw Aaron Rodgers come in and his look. I think we can all agree we enjoyed that very much. This game is all about Aaron Rodgers' different looks and the characters he has dressed as. So what we're going to do is post a picture. You are going to guess then who he is trying to be. Okay. And then we will rate how we feel he did on that disguise, costume, whatever you want to call it.
Okay, sounds good. I'm ready.
All righty.
Okay. I know it's a Nicolas Cage movie, and I saw something about a bunny, but
I did see that too.
I think there's a quote about a bunny, but I'm not sure. But I was just distracted by the picture.
It's understandable. Like, look at those arms, man.
Everyone was so against the hair, but I'm here for it. Grow it out.
I'm also here for it. Okay, I'm going to show the picture of both of them together, and Tori's going to tell us who it is, and we're going to rate them.
Okay.
So, of course, like you said, Nicolas Cage, the movie he is in here is Conair.
Okay.
How do you think he did with this one?
10 out of 10.
13 out of 10.
I mean, I would take Aaron Rodgers right now over Nicolas Cage and say that was the one in the movie because he looks so much better there.
I agree. I mean, look at the hairline. Nicolas Cage is receding a little bit, and Aaron Rodgers has got the full hairline going for him. The beard is full.
The tan.
He did it
yes,
better.
The tan
it's
is
the
great.
Tan for me.
It's the little accents he put on this as well. You can't see in the picture, but he went all the way down to the belt, the jeans. Like it's perfect. He did a great job.
Okay, we loved that one. We loved the videos, all the pictures. Everyone was raving about it. And then let's see. Here's the second one, Emily.
Okay, this was John Wick. I know that. So good.
So how do you think he did in this one?
This one I would give I don't know, it has a dog, so 12 out of 10.
That's fair. Dogs are always bonus points as well. And he went above and beyond and actually used someone else's dog for this picture specifically.
Do you know whose dog it was?
Oh man, I don't remember whose dog it was.
I would guess probably either Bakhtiari's or Randall Cobb's.
I was going to say Bakhtiari would probably be my guess, but I don't know if he has a dog, so.
But no, I do like this one. How about you, Haley? What do you think?
Love it. Love that he got the dog for it. Love the blood. Is it blood on his face? Love it.
Again, it's the little things, the accents that he does. He puts so much work into it. He worked on this one for like a year, basically.
For the hair, because that's what he said.
Yeah.
And then everyone thought the hair was going to be gone, and it wasn't. So I'm here for it.
I am too. I think it's good. Okay, next one.
Oof. I don't know this one.
Oh, this is one of my favorites.
I love the mustache.
Yes, I remember this picture coming out, but I have no idea what that's from.
This is from Happy Gilmore.
Ooh, that's Ben Stiller on the right.
Yes, that's Ben Stiller on the right. This is from Happy Gilmore. He was the one at the nursing home that his grandma was staying at in the movie, always causing havoc and forcing those ladies to knit like crazy. So how do you think he did in this one?
This one, I would say probably a 9 out of 10. Can't give Rodgers a bad number, but yeah, I'd say 9 out of 10. But it looks like he has a watch on, the name tag, the belt, the mustache was shaved perfectly. So, what about you, Tori? What would you give?
Is a little different.
I would probably rate this one. I really do enjoy how all out he went into it as well, with like the little hook down there and everything you can't see again in the picture, but I would put this one as 8 out of 10 for me. It's a funny one. It's not like, wow, he's looking awesome, because honestly, mustaches are not my thing, but he does wear one well. So I'm going to give that one an 8.
Okay.
That is also my rating on it. Love the mustache. Love the effort there. Yeah, I like it. Okay. That's a good one. Great one. Great one even.
Oh, I was like, is that okay? Yeah, Napoleon Dynamite. He's Uncle Rico, and
yes,
Patrick is, I cannot remember her name, but Uncle Rico. I think that's a hilarious costume choice for him. Simply because Uncle Rico. It's so bad.
I mean, it's a very good costume for him, because I do feel he could throw that thing over those mountains over there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So here's the original. How do we think you did?
Pure comedy. I'm sorry. I would give him a really high rating. I think I'll do an 8. I think pretty accurate with the headband and the football, and the color I think was a little bit off, but I knew exactly who it was.
I am also I'm gonna knock it down to a 7, just because the outfit difference,
Mm-hmm. He did the best he can.
He did the best he could, though. It's a great one. It's a great character. All good things.
Okay, we got 2 more. Emily, are you ready?
I'm ready. Oof. Maybe I wasn't ready. Ooh. I am gonna have to say I don't know.
That's fair. This is actually, he's portraying Bill Murray's character in a movie. The character is Steve Zissou. He is in The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou. I have personally not seen it, but if you see the side by sides or who he's portraying, he did a very good job in this one as well.
And here's the original.
Oh wow. Okay,
Down
I
to
think
the
that's
leg strap.
yeah, I'll give that one 11 out of 10 because it looks like the jumpsuit's the same. The hat might be a bit off, but yeah, the leg strap,
It's the leg strap. It's perfect.
I agree.
What would you rate this one, Haley?
I'm gonna go 10 out of 10 for sure. The leg strap really did it for me. Okay, last one. An old one.
It's a real oldie.
Oldie but a goodie.
Ooh. He looks military. Maybe Rambo?
Ooh, okay.
Good guess.
That is a good guess because it is Rambo indeed. Played by Sylvester Stallone, of course. How do you think young Aaron did in this one?
I'd say since it's young Aaron, I'd give him like a 6 or 7 out of 10.
Yes, I do feel definitely out, especially with the ones that we have seen.
Yeah.
Not his best showing on accuracy. So I'm gonna have to give it a 5 out of 10.
I'm going 4 out of 10.
Ooh, we're
The
just getting worse.
execution was not there.
I was really between a 4 and a 5 out of 10, but I hate giving Rodgers anything below average because he is not.
Absolutely. I think definitely he's got a better costume designer as the years went on and as the paychecks kept coming.
Exactly.
Yes.
You can tell where the money's going. It's all going to costumes.
I agree. Yes, it's definitely going to costumes, but hey, he's pulling them off well. He's invested in them, and I guess we'll see what he does in October this year.
Yes,
gotta be something with long hair because he still has his long hair.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. That can be something around Halloween. We'll have to guess who he's going to be this year.
Did you get those photos from Rodgers' OnlyFans page, Tori?
I did not. I am too cheap to have to spend for something I can find on the internet for free.
We love to see it.
But I do love it.
Okay, well, that wraps up our first episode of Green and Gorgeous. Thank you all so much for spending your Thursday night with us, especially when there's a preseason game on right now. Football hasn't been here for a long time, and I'm ready to get back to watching it. But you can follow me, Twitter, Bales of Hay with 5 Ys. Our show also has a Twitter. It's green__gorgeous. You can also find us at Game On Wisconsin, Game On WI. Also, make sure to subscribe to Game On Wisconsin YouTube as well, so that way you always get notified whenever we're going live. Tori, where can we find you at?
Yes, I'm on Twitter as well. It is right there in my name there. It is just Tori Piat. That is also how I say my last name. It is not Poet. But yeah, you can find me on there. Of course, like she was saying, give us a follow. We're on Instagram, green__gorgeous, Twitter as well. That's where you can find me at.
All right, Emily, what about you?
You can find me on Twitter also. My username is the Emily with the extra Y and the Johnson with the 2 extra N's. And we're also on Instagram, and we'll stay up to date with more content. But thank you guys.
All right. Thanks, guys.